Matt Watson from CarWow has just reviewed an electric car, and he says that that car, which happens to be the cheapest electric car on sale right now in the UK, is the best car he's driven all year. In fact, he says it's better than a Volkswagen ID3, which costs, well, about $10,000 more. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm the Electric Viking. Great to see you. Welcome to all the new subscribers. Welcome back, everyone else. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you for supporting the channel. Really appreciate your support. The new MG4. So in the UK, MG is a pretty popular brand. It used to be a UK brand. However, the company basically went bankrupt then. The brand was purchased by Chinese state-owned company SAIC, Motor Corporation Limited, and of course reintroduced back into the UK. So Matt Watson tested this new electric car, and he also said at the end of the video that if you're comparing this to other models on the market, you should buy this. He said, don't buy the ID3, buy this instead. It's cheaper and does the same thing. Now, interestingly, it turns out some of the actual parts in the MG4 are actually used in Audi and Volkswagen parts as well, because while SAIC and Volkswagen, they have a joint venture in China. So basically SAIC makes Volkswagen electric cars for them, meaning that who knows, we don't really know, but definitely some of the parts in this car are Volkswagen parts. Now, Volkswagen wouldn't want you to know that, but that is actually true. Now, in the UK, the MG4 costs £26,000. Even the top spec trophy long range version with a bigger battery pack only costs £32,000, which is cheaper than all of its rivals. In fact, it's cheaper than a Kia Niro EV by at least £4,000. Now, in a really short period of time, the MG brand has achieved some significant success. For example, it's one of the best-selling electric cars here in Australia, the MG ZS EV. Now, if the Mulan MG4 EV was here in Australia, I think it would do even better. So the MG4 is really taking the brand that step further, thanks to one fundamental difference between it and its competition. Now, unlike some of the competition, such as the Kona Niro electric car, the MG4 was designed from the ground up as an electric car only model. An all-new structure called the Modular Scalable Platform has enabled MG to design a car much better suited to battery power. It's taken a similar approach to the Volkswagen Group's MEB range, and there's a rear-mounted electric motor and a wheelbase that is stretched as far as possible within a modest footprint. It's actually got really good interior space for the size. It's a pretty similar size to a Toyota Corolla, but it's definitely got a much bigger interior to a Toyota Corolla for sure. Now, what is the range and battery pack sizes? Well, the small standard range battery pack is a 51 kilowatt hour pack, and that gives 218 miles of range on the WLTP cycle. If you want to get the long range model, which is definitely the model I recommend, that comes with a 64 kilowatt hour pack, and that one gives a range of around 280 miles. Now, there's a YouTube video saying the best 300 mile vehicle car in the world is the MG4. It doesn't do 300 miles. You'd have to literally drive it down a hill to do 300 miles. That's literally impossible unless you're hypermiling down a hill. So yeah, that's not going to happen. Now, in terms of power, it has a 200 horsepower rear motor. So it's not a front wheel drive car like Volkswagen vehicles or like most of the competition. Rear wheel drive, which I think actually makes it more compelling. And one of the key reasons why Matt Watson on CarWow said it was his favorite car. He loved the way it drives. And he said, for the price you're paying for this car versus the way it drives, it's really, really good. Now, it'll do 0 to 62 miles an hour in 7.7 seconds, which sounds it's okay, not too bad. But when Matt tested it on the channel, he actually found, you can see this on the video, by the way, he does the actual test and does 0 to 62 miles per hour in 7 seconds flat. I think it was 7 seconds or 7.1 seconds. So it goes quite a bit faster than MG claim. And it seems as though this is one of those cars, right? MG are not making big claims, but the car is delivering big things. One of the things I really like about it is for the price, the interior and the exterior, but primarily the interior looks really, really nice. It's minimalist. It's clear that inspiration has been borrowed from German brands and from Tesla. And the steering wheel, Matt really liked it. And I really liked it as well. Now, one of the things I noticed is that the column stalk looks like it comes straight out of an Audi. I believe it does come straight out of an Audi, but I could be wrong on that. And one of the things that reviewers are saying everywhere, right? Different reviews, Auto Express or Car Wow, Car Expert here in Australia, they've all said similar things, that it handles quite well. And it's got light but direct steering. Now you can actually change the steering modes. There's a whole bunch of different steering modes. You can change the weight of the steering wheel. If you want to make it really light, if you want to make the steering wheel basically turn with almost zero effort, you can do that if you want. I mean, that's not what I would do personally, but you can do that. There's quite a few different options. Now, one of the detractions of this car, I do think it's a fairly significant downside, isn't scratchy plastics. Now, apparently there's scratchy plastics in the back. Who cares about that? That means nothing. It is the fact that you can't actually do one pedal driving with this car. When I say one pedal driving, now, with an electric car, with your regen braking turned on, say on your highest setting, what that means is when you don't accelerate, then the regen braking will come on and it will basically act as a brake. And then it will just send it'll send energy charge straight back into your battery. So you can just forget about the brake altogether. Just use the accelerator to drive completely. That's it. When you're accelerating, the car's going forward. When you're not accelerating, the car's braking. This is what a lot of people do in their electric cars. People love having this feature. It's weird at the start. Takes some time to get used to. Once you're used to it, people say it's awesome. This car doesn't enable that feature. The regen braking, even in its strongest setting, won't enable you to do that. So that's probably the one most significant downside of this car. Matt mentions a few other downsides. I don't think they're things you're going to really care about. There's a couple of tiny little things that are just really not that relevant. To me, that's the one big issue with this vehicle. However, everyone is saying the best quality of this car is it's fun to drive. It's fun to drive and it's affordable. Those are the two big pros. Turn into a corner quickly, and the MG4 initially feels a little nose heavy, but a mix of an adjustable chassis and the rear-wheel drive layout, and of course a low center of gravity with it being battery pack just in the bottom of the floor, of course, that means that it's possible for your inputs to hold plenty of influence over how the MG4 behaves. This is a really good thing for these kind of manufacturers in the future. Chinese electric vehicle manufacturers are really, really improving the product. I've seen lots of glowing reviews for the BYD Atto 3. My review will be coming very soon. And I actually think people might find those cars more compelling than they realize. Now, this car apparently as well has quite a lot of torque, and motorists and journalists have noted in the fact that it feels very easy to drive at speed to merge onto highways, unlike some other budget-priced EVs, which can be a little bit slow. Now, the base spec comes with MG's Pilot Assist Safety Suite, a bunch of safety features. This is the base model. Comes with 17-inch alloy wheels, which is actually a good thing. You'll get better range with smaller wheels. LED projector-type headlights, LED taillights, a 7-inch digital instrument cluster, 10.25-inch touchscreen, iSmart user app, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It doesn't come with its own maps, but you're just going to use Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, so I mean, it doesn't matter. DAB plus DAB digital radio, 4-speaker audio, climate control, leather steering wheel, black fabric upholstery, and one big feature that I think is worth pointing out, vehicle to load charging ability, 2,200 watt. So it's not super high powerful vehicle to load. You could really only run one appliance. Like if you want to run your air conditioner in your house, you could do that. 2,200 watts is not a huge amount of power, but it does give you that ability, vehicle to load. So you can use this car if you have a blackout at your house to send power back to your house in the case of an emergency. That's a definite feature of this car. Also has vehicle to grid, but the point is here, you could say if you wanted to use it when you're camping, use it for all kinds of different features that having that enables. Now, for example, if you were just like somewhere away from power, and you want to plug in your laptop, you can plug your laptop in. It's all pretty simple. Now, if you want to get the long range version, the trophy model, that comes with the long range battery, a 360-degree camera, iSmart Live services, not sure what that is, sat nav, don't think you're going to use the sat nav, it'll be better if you use Apple Maps or Android Auto, 6-speaker audio, so you get two extra speakers and 3D sound, wireless smartphone charger, auto dimming rear view mirror, black leatherette upholstery. It's not leather, it's the vegan leather. Heated front seats, heated steering wheel, digital smartphone key, and an adjustable boot floor. Prices. Well, US, I don't know if you guys are going to get this car soon. I don't think you will soon. It's going to be really popular in China, in Europe, in Australia. They've already started selling them here in Australia. Apparently, expressions of, they're just taking deposits. There's not an actual price here for Australians. For you Aussies, the price though, if you look at it in the UK, if you compare what they're paying for the MG ZS EV, it's about £5,000 cheaper. So that would mean that likely the base model will cost around $35,000 in Australia and the long range model around $40,000 in Australia. Really, this is a no-brainer getting this car if you're after a budget EV. There's no other choice. Not only is there no other choices, but it's like the luck of the draw here is there's no other choices, but the only choice you have is a really, really good one. So that's kind of cool, right? There will soon be another choice though. There will be a direct competitor to this car, very similar car, but a bit smaller. BYD's Dolphin, the EA1. Now I've made some videos about the Dolphin. I'll put a link in the description below to the Dolphin if you want to check that out. I'll actually compare the two cars for you guys soon, the Dolphin versus the MG4, to give you an idea of what your choices will be, your prices. But those two cars will probably be a similar price. I think the Dolphin might be a little bit cheaper, not much, but a little bit smaller. But the good thing about the Dolphin, big advantage is it's got a very, very small front bonnet, and most of the car is just interior space. I love the practicality of the Dolphin. That's one little advantage that the BYD Dolphin has over this car. It does have a longish bonnet, and there's no frunk. There's nowhere to store anything in the front. The front trunk, there's nothing there. If you open it up, you can't put anything in there. So the packaging of this car, it's good, but it could be slightly better. I think the packaging of the BYD Dolphin is just one step better. But like I said, two really good compelling options coming very soon for you guys in the UK as well. I believe you'll be getting the BYD Dolphin as well, EA1. People in Europe, more than likely you'll get that car soon, I imagine as well. It's coming to Australia, no question, coming to New Zealand, coming to, I believe, Singapore, Thailand, some other countries, probably lots of different countries around the world. I don't know every country, but lots of different countries. Two really good compelling EVs, MG4 and the BYD EA1. I'm excited for both of them. Let me know which one interests you the most out of those two. If today you're considering one of those, which one would it be? Now, I want to point this out again. This has got to be a little bit concerning for companies selling affordably priced, well, more affordably priced EVs like the Volkswagen ID.3, like vehicles in that market segment where the Chinese really are coming for them and they're coming hard. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.